Hello learners, welcome to the new series of lectures on microprocessor. In this lecture, we will understand the concept of microprocessor. So what is a microprocessor? You all must be aware of the central processing unit, that is CPU, in your desktops or laptops or in the computers generally. It is, as you all know, that it is the main unit which performs the functions, or you can say it controls the functions. So that is the brain of your system. It is nothing but the microprocessor only. So microprocessor is the brain of the system, and you can directly correlate it with the CPU of the system. Okay. So what does the CPU do? CPU basically, it is driven by a signal. It is multi-purpose. It is programmable. So these all are the keywords that will come to your mind when you will talk about the CPU of your system. So if you talk about the CPU of your system, the keywords that will come to your mind is that it is multi-purpose, it is programmable, it is basically it is a clock driven device. Clock is a signal that basically drives that CPU, and it accepts the binary data, it processes that data, it provides the output. Yes, so that is the CPU. So when you will combine all these keywords in the sentences, the definition of microprocessor will be ready. So you can combine all these keywords. Just let's look them one by one. So it is a multi-purpose, programmable, clock driven. Clock is a signal, that is a square wave generator, or you can say square wave signal, that is used to synchronize the devices. So it is a signal which drives the CPU. Then it is a register based. Register is basically the storing element, you can say. So it stores the data. So it is a register based electronic device. Okay. It and the binary instructions according to which that data has to be dealt or processed, that binary instructions are saved in the memory. So registers are mainly used for saving and storing the data, and binary instructions, the CPU of course needs the binary instruction because it has to process that data, and those instructions are saved in the memory. So you can see here also that it says reads binary instruction from a storage device called memory. Then it accepts binary data as input. So if you write hello world to your computer, or you give some instruction like printf, scanf, so microprocessor does not understand printf, scanf. The printf, scanf instructions or some other instructions given by you are converted into binary form, and it is being given to the CPU. So it accepts the binary data as input, it processes that data according to the instructions, whatever you have to do with the data, and then it provides the output. So when you will combine all these keywords in a paragraph, the definition of microprocessor will be ready in front of you. So I hope that if you will correlate with the system in your laptops or in your computers, you will be easily able to remember the definition of microprocessor. Now, if I want to draw the block diagram, a very general block diagram for microprocessor from its definition, so I can draw it like this. This is a microprocessor which is connected to the memory. You have to connect the memory externally, and you have to connect the input output devices externally to your microprocessor. Okay, so input output device means the device through which you will enter your inputs and you will get the outputs. Like your keyboard is the input, monitor is the output, so that is all connected externally to the CPU of the system. So that in the same manner here also, the memory and input output devices will be connected externally to the microprocessor. Now if we talk about the components of the microprocessor, what are the components of a microprocessor? So basically means on the basis of which components the microprocessor will work. So mainly the microprocessor will work on the basis of two components, that is hardware and software. Software, what is software? everybody wants CS branch, everybody is looking for computer science and engineering, so you must be aware with this word software. Software means a list or a set of instructions, that is called a software. And what is a hardware? Hardware means, what is in hardware? It is the physical components of the system. So hardware is the physical components. That means you can connect them physically, you can have them physically, but software is the group of instructions. So I hope that you must be well aware of these two words. Now, so microprocessor, you all must have understood the meaning of microprocessor. Now let us see what are the three main functions of microprocessor. If from the complete paragraph that I have told you at the earlier part of this lecture, when you will join all the keywords, you will get a paragraph that is the definition of microprocessor. So from that definition, if you talk about what are the main functions of microprocessor, so what is it doing? It is fetching the data in instructions. Fetching, in short, you can remember it like this: fetching, decoding, then it will decode those instructions, and then execution. Decoding, execution. So fetching, decoding, and execution, these are the three main functions of microprocessor. Always remember them. So whenever you are asked that in short that what are the main functions of microprocessor, so you must remember these three words, that is fetching, decoding, and execution. All goes one after the other. Fetching means when you fetch the data and instructions from the memory, then you obviously you have to process decode that data, that you have to execute the output. So these are the three main functions of microprocessor. Now another very common word that comes in this subject is, what is the power of microprocessor? Power, or when a microprocessor is said to be quite powerful. So power of microprocessor is related to its ability to execute millions of instructions per second. So more the number of instructions a microprocessor can execute per second, the more powerful it is. So it reflects the ability of a microprocessor to execute many instructions, you can say billions and millions of instructions per second. So that is the power of microprocessor. Now what are the next topic of this lecture is, so that was the definition of microprocessor. Now let us understand what are the common terms which will be used again and again in this subject, that is microprocessors. So what are the common terms that you will come across? You must know that. First one is bit. Bit. So if you are given a binary sequence like this, so this is one bit, this is second bit, this is third bit, and this is fourth bit. So each single digit is a bit. Now nibble. What is a nibble? So nibble is a group of 4 bits, that is called a nibble. Like if you have a binary sequence like this, so it has 2 nibbles. One nibble is this, because a group of 4 bits, and the other nibble is this, again a group of 4 bits. Then comes byte. So group of 8 bits is called a byte. That is a byte. Now another is word. Word is a group of 16 bits, that is one word. So that is double of byte, that is word. Another term that you may come across is double word. So as the name itself implies, double word means double of word, and as the word was a group of 16 bits, so it's going to be 32 bits. That is one double word. So these are the most common terms that you will come across. Another term that you can come across is buses. So every microprocessor has some buses. So what is a bus here? What is a bus in general? In general, bus is a vehicle that carries the passengers from one place to another. In the same manner, here also in the case of microprocessors, the signals, the data that you are talking again and again, you are talking about that you will fetch the data, you will fetch the instructions from the memory, you can fetch the data from the memory or from the register, and you will decode it, you will execute it, the microprocessor will execute it. So all those signals, that when it has to fetch the data, then the data will come to the microprocessor. So all this exchange of data, exchange of instructions, exchange of signals, that is going on some conducting lines. Okay, in electronics it is in the form of conducting lines. So those lines are called buses, which are used to carry the addresses, the data, the instructions. Okay, so all those signals that are being carried from one place to another, that is from microprocessor and memory, or from memory to microprocessor, or between microprocessor and input output device, all that exchange that is taking place, on a group of conducting wires. Obviously it is an electronic device, so there will be wires included here. So that is all taking place on a group of wires, and those are called buses. So very simple if you understand it like this way. So that is a bus. Now another is clock signals. Clock. What is a clock? As I have told you earlier also, clock is a square wave generator. Okay, and it is being generated so that the CPU or the microprocessor of your system can function properly, and it initiates the function sometimes of the microprocessor. So basically this signal is used to synchronize your microprocessor with the various devices in the system. That means, as you can see in the block also, we have connected microprocessor and the memory, we have connected microprocessor and the input output device. So they must be synchronized, means whenever microprocessor needs some data or some instruction out of memory, so the memory has to work accordingly. So clock is a signal that is basically used to synchronize these devices. So it is a signal that is basically used to initiate the function or to end the function, or so basically we are using the word synchronizing. So it is basically used to synchronize the various devices with the microprocessor. So that is a clock. So I hope that you must have understood all the common words or the common terms that you will come across in the microprocessors, and most importantly you all must have understood the meaning of microprocessor. If you will cram it, you will not be able to understand, but if you will relate it directly to your laptops, to the brain of your laptops, to the CPUs of your system, then you can easily understand what a microprocessor is. So hoping that you all must have understood. Let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you all.